almost there.
How are you? Are you all right?
I'm not great.
Really?
Not terrible.
I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds first level on you as well.
Okay.
Do you... No,
it's
just,
8 points of healing.
You don't have lay on hands, right? Is that a paladin only thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No.
I don't have that.
I think it'd be a cleric thing too.
You think?
I have some
Thank
good
you.
stuff.
So, as you are gathering your thoughts, you're mending your wounds, do you continue on your way? Do you want to stop for a rest or continue? You've gone, it's been about 4 hours. You can see that this is going to be a little bit slower now as you now realize that there are trees able to kill you on your way. Taking your normal 6-hour trek, it'll probably take you about 7 to 7.5 hours. Take you a little after midday to get to your destination.
Let's get there while this bread is fresh.
No one wants a rest? You're all right?
I think all my stuff comes back on a long rest, so...
Oh, yes, mine.
You can use hit die on a short rest if you want to heal. If not, we can continue right along.
I get my stuff back on a short rest.
Again,
My
just
actions are
remember
myself.
your 6-hour trek is looking like 7 to 7.5 now. So if you rest for the hour, it becomes about 8.5 hours. And you do want to be back before dark.
Right. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, maybe we should press on then.
All right, if we need a rest, if we come across anything else, just let me know.
All right. Now if I could have just one last person roll me a d20.
That was a 3.
That is a 3.
Lucky number 3.
3 trees.
I don't have any trees, huh?
No, I was just thinking that we gotta commission some trees.
So as you're continuing along, going through your travel, you've now come across to a point in the road where you don't quite see a clear path in front of you. The road looks as though there could just be a mirage, a trick of the eye, but there is a slight fork into the road.
Perhaps it is time to use the twig.
All right, I will take out the twig and hold it up and then say, Jace.
As you say it, the small twig levitates about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, starts to spin around in your hand, 2, 3, and then on the 4th spin, it pauses on the right side and slowly goes back. It is telling you to go to the fork on the left side.
All right. If this isn't a complete lie and piece of shit, then we should be safe.
I can't set it on fire if it is a liar.
Some magic items are difficult to destroy.
So you've come to a point in your journey as you're walking down. You can hear the birds in the background quietly chirping. The roads aren't horrible, but it definitely looks in parts starting to back overgrow. This isn't a well-traveled road, but it is definitely a road that people use almost daily. But as you continue on going through, next thing you know, you've come across to a small stream. It's about 15 feet wide. As you're approaching the stream, you notice there's no diversion to the path. The path continues straight through the stream. You can't quite tell how deep it is from when you first notice it. So you're not sure if you're supposed to cross here or not.
How wide is it?
It's only about 15 feet to the other side, so it's not very big, but you're not sure how deep. There is a slight current, but not very strenuous, but you can't quite tell just how deep it is.
I have a lance. I'd be interested in taking the lance and poking it down to try to see
how far
deep
down
it
goes. So as you take out your lance and you begin to poke it, I believe a lance is about, is it 8 feet?
It is. It says it has a 10-foot reach.
Oh. Big Larry.
It's a big lance.
Right, that's so let's see, a sword all has a 5-foot reach, and then so if that has a 10, we'll say it's probably about 8 feet long, kind of like a standard size lance, maybe 6 to 8 feet. So as you begin to
walk in doorways with that thing,
as you begin to take the lance in order to try and reach in, you can see the stream is probably about maybe 4.5-5 feet deep from as far as you can reach. It may get a little deeper in the middle, but you're fairly confident that it's about 4 or 5 feet deep. Feels like there is a little bit of a current.
Right. I mean, it's not too deep, but I don't necessarily want to get all wet. Any ideas?
I can fly over it.
Well, that's great for you. I'm very happy for you that you can fly over it.
Do we see anything on the other end? Because I've got that rope that we can tie.
We do.
On the other side, it just appears like the trail or the road just continues on. Doesn't look like this waterway has been here forever.
Can we see hoof and wagon marks in the mud on either shore?
You do not notice any hoof or wagon marks. Like I said, this trail is used every day, but it's not high traffic.
Seems weird.
If you can fly across, then maybe you can take this rope and tie it. It's a 50-foot rope. I mean, that doesn't look too far.
Very well.
Is that a possibility? Is there something that we could tie? on the other
There are trees in. How do you plan on to fly across?
Using the whatever the hell this is called.
The storm sorcerer. I believe you can go 10 feet.
Magic. Yeah, fly up to 10 feet.
It's a 15-foot stream.
I will do a running start.
Running start.
And then jump and then fly halfway through.
I'll tell you what. Give me a running start, and what is your strength modifier?
+1.
And you would be holding on to the rope because I'm giving you the rope.
Oh, I'm sorry. What is your strength score?
13.
13 total?
Why? 14. So 13 plus 1.
All right, so let me get an athletics check to see how well you are able to maintain speed and distance before you start your spell.
Come on, baby. Not well. That's a 9.
All right, so with a 9, you get a good running start, but just before you hit the edge of the water, a loose stone, so you kind of stumble that last step, and then just as it looks like you're about to hit the water, your gust begins, and you make it within 1 foot of the other side, so you get a little wet on the other side.
Yeah, my white robe's all muddy.
Are there any branches above?
Yes, just like with the standard canopy, this looks like a stream that has kind of like found a path in between the trees. So the canopy is still overhead. There are still trees on both sides. If Aeolus wanted to tie the rope, you should have no problem. Or if you want to attempt to get a branch and reach over, you can attempt that.
Yeah, I'm tying this to like what, a tree trunk or something.
We could do that, or we could try to throw it over a branch and we could swing.
What do you prefer?
I mean, I've always enjoyed swinging, but I suppose, either or. What are your preferences?
Very well.
Very well. So you find some sort of rock or something similar. You're able to like go up and over the tree to the other side. So who is going to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, let me get an athletics check. This is more or less to see. This is more or less to see how well you make it across, not a pass or fail.
Athletics, you said?
Yes.
17.
With a 17, you jump across and literally just holding on one hand, perfect kick with the legs at just the right point, and you just sail right across this small stream.
Easy peasy.
Alright.
I'll throw it back over to
Sakidi.
Alright, so I'm gonna cast guidance on myself. And I'm going to do it. Never really been good at this. Oh, yeah, and yeah. That's a athletics, you said?
Yes.
7.
7 total. With a 7, you grab on to the rope, and as you get about halfway, not sure, maybe it's your chainmail, or now that you're carrying the extra bit of weight with that secondary mace, you make it just over the halfway mark, and you lose your grip as you not fall through the air. It's more like your legs kicked up, and when they kicked up, it's like you kicked yourself off of the land about a foot to 2 feet from the edge. You land in a seated position in the water. Only your britches get wet. You're not in too deep. It's not too muddy. It's kind of a rocky stone bed.
Oh.
But you all made it across.
I was going to walk anyway, but I was trying to be cool. That's what you get. I'm gonna get my rope back. I'm not gonna leave it there.
Absolutely. You take the time to pull down your rope and wrap it up real nice for yourself. You're now on the last leg of the journey, so I will make this roll.
Did the food get delivered?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, with that, as you are walking, you've had a couple of interactions that have slowed you down between the river and being attacked by a huge tree. But as you're continuing, about to crest over a hillside, you actually come to a bit of a clearing. This is the first time you can get a clear view of the sky without the canopy interfering. And you see that the sun is almost right in peak position, which lets you know you are making good time. It's been about 6 hours since you left, and you are about to walk up to an open clearing. Can I get perception checks from everyone?
I see nothing.
I get natural 1 plus 0.
18.
We both see nothing.
So yes, you two are both reminiscing the time that you jumped over the creek with
So
one
good.
another.
Those are good times.
It went really well.
As Sakidi begins to notice just on the far end of the clearing, you can notice small smoke looking from like a cooking fire just starting. So you believe you are heading in that same direction as the smoke.
I cannot tell if this is from a campfire or if we're very close to Jace, but if you look, you can see someone's cooking.
Oh. Do we smell anything?
Nothing out of the ordinary. Probably if you were to walk directly to the other side, avoiding the winding of the road, probably would take you about another 15 or 20 minutes. If you stay on the path, it eventually heads that way. It'll probably be closer to an hour or so.
So we can either cut across or go, there's a path that goes around.
Yes, it looks like as you come up to the clearing, the path kind of hugs the left side of the clearing, and more towards the right, on your right-hand side, the clearing opens up more. So it looks like the path kind of hugs the tree line as it goes around the clearing.
And I'll look at that. We could cut across, but I also get an impression that there is a path here for a reason. I mean, we're hardy enough, but do we want to save some time or do we want to go the safe way?
We do have to make it back with a horse.
Oh shit. Right. I forgot where we were going.
I vote for the safe route, or safer, as far as we know, and staying on the road.
It doesn't matter to me.
Do you think?
I don't know. I want us to make good time, but also...
Would you care to flip a coin?
I know.
Would you like to flip a coin?
Maybe.
I can't feel my thumb because I slammed it in a carriage door a couple of days ago. So.
Oh no. Alright.
Which one is heads and which one is tails?
I'd say the sword is heads,
Sure.
and the other part is tails.
The D20 is
So,
Alright,
heads.
so what head? Yeah.
Yeah.
We flip
What are we
it.
doing for heads?
we didn't make a call.
Sorry, it's my first
I
time.
do that all the time.
How about the sword is the not safe way? Because
Yes.
the sword
It's dangerous.
Yes. At least an hour flipping.
We got the safe way.
Okay.
Let's take the safe.
The winds of wisdom have blown.
Thank you, Whore, for your guidance.
So as you begin to trek across, staying on the path, going around, that's when you first start to hear it.
We chose unwisely.
As you're getting closer, you can hear the stomps getting louder and louder. And then before you know it, you hear... You've found your way to the horse farm. So as you make it to the other side of the clearing, come up to a small, very rudimentary style fence. The classic farmer's fence has poles in the ground with 2 or 3 slats across. More of a boundary fence as opposed to any sort of fence to try and keep people from getting in. As you get right up to the fence, that's when you notice there is like a small cottage set back maybe 100 feet from the edge of the trail, and from inside the cottage you can see the chimney. It does have smoke coming out of it, which you deduce that this is the smoke that you saw from across the clearing. Pretty nondescript. There's no banners, No markers of any kind. It just seems like a little shack on the edge of someone's property.
Should we call from here or march to the house?
Hooty hoo! From the clearing, or from the edge.
So you're about 100 feet. No response.
We can get closer, I think.
Do you have to climb the fence, or is it like...
No, it's just like a boundary fence, just kind of like marking this person's property.
I'm going to take my mace out and hold it kind of like out in front of me, almost like a torch, and cast light on it, so that it is clear that we are not trying to hide the fact that we are here. Kind of just as we walk forward.
So as you continue to walk forward, you notice you see a couple of goats in the backyard. Small building. You think it could possibly be either a raven shack or a kitchen, a chicken shack. And as you continue further in the back, now you can start to see like a barn stall area set way back from the road, which you couldn't see until you went about half the distance from the road to get towards the cottage. Do you continue your approach?
Perhaps you should hoot again.
Hooty hoo!
No response.
I can't get very loud and I don't have the cantrip set. That makes me have a thunderous voice.
As we are walking, I'm just gonna keep an eye out for any eccentric hermit traps on their property, given that he lives alone.
Let me get a perception check.
15.
With a 15, you don't see anything overtly out of the ordinary. There's no markers, but you do look down on your feet and you do notice there are a couple of stones that go from the opening right to the cottage.
Okay. Well, let's call out as we get closer. Mr. Jace! We'll just keep walking along the stone path towards...
Once you get about 15 or 20 feet from the edge of the cottage door, the door does open. And it's a little bit dark on the inside, so you can't quite see what's going on, but just from the open door, did you do it on your hammer or
On the mace.
on the mace? With your mace glowing, you do see the outline of a male humanoid just watching, and you hear, "Can I help you?"
Yes, are you Mr. Jace?
Depends on who's asking.
We're just here to purchase a horse.
Well, my door's open, isn't it?
Indeed.
May we come in?
He just steps off to the side.
Alright. This should be fun. Do you want me to go first with my light?
Sure.
Yeah. I'll head in first.
He is watching as you walk in. As soon as you walk in with your mace alight, that's when you can see a slender, to you could possibly middle-aged. There's no wrinkles on his face. but you notice that there is almost a darkness around his eyes. His hair is pulled back into a loose ponytail. His hair is black, like very black.
Does he have pointy ears?
Yes, he does have the traditional signifier of elven descent, that he has pointy ears and a slender face, no facial hair, but he does have milky white skin, almost like a sheet of paper.
So, thank you for taking our visit. Unfortunately, we were attacked on our way from Aurorhaus to World's End, and we were told that you had an extra horse that we could perhaps purchase.
I do have horses. What kind of horse are you looking for?
One that is not frightened so easily.
And can pull a wagon.
A workhorse?
Yep.
Wait here. It's gonna quickly, you notice right by the door, which you couldn't see before, as he walks by next, just next to the open, there is a longbow and a sword just waiting on the edge. As he goes out, you can hear.
Realized now, did we bring enough money to buy a horse?
Oh gosh, I hope so.
Oh, yes.
Let's hope we realize bread.
So as you're sitting there,
It's for buying weapons. Oh shit, we're supposed to be buying a horse.
I kind of forgot why we were going here.
as you're sitting there, you notice there is a small wood stove. Appears to be pot of water simmering. I think he could be making a morning meal, midday meal, perhaps some tea. Also inside you see a workbench just off to the side. No decorations that you notice, anything like that. Do you guys look around, or you just wait patiently for Jace to return?
Look around, but not snoopingly.
Yeah, definitely looking around. Just kind of shine the light.
So as you're just kind of shining the light, looking around, it's a fairly well-maintained little cottage. Everything seems to have a place. You notice a small cot in the far corner. If you walk in the front door, the cottage is a little bit wider than it is deep. So from left to right, as you're looking, immediately as you walk in, you can see on your left-hand side, that's where there's a small bench. And then across from that into the back corner, there's a small cot. And then directly across from the door in the far corner, that's where you can see the wood stove. The front door is just on the right side of the front of the cottage. As you look around, you notice the most striking thing that you notice is how clean it is. It's very clean. Whoever lives here definitely seems to spend their days keeping things in order. About another 5 minutes comes by, and the middle-aged elven man. All right, I have 2 working horses available. I can have them ready for you today. It's going to be 150 gold.
I'll thank the winds.
Oh, I almost forgot, Mr. Jace. I'm just going to reach into my bag. I brought something for you, because I didn't want to show up empty-handed. So, I pull out the nicely wrapped up loaf of bread. I stopped by the bakery this morning on the way here, and I thought to myself, I wonder if this Jace would like a loaf of bread. So, this is fresh, right baked just this morning. And, may I put it down somewhere for you?
If you take a bite first.
Oh, I understand. I wouldn't take food from me either. I will
Very
unwrap
suspect.
it. I'll unwrap it and I'll break off a piece and eat it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Places it on the table. So,
The people often come here trying to poison you.
no, but some lot see a bunch of horses, one man,
I
and
understand.
they try to make themselves famous.
You get a lot of visitors?
Every few days.
Just people looking for horses?
There's a lot of expansion going on.
Makes sense. Yes, we've heard that.
The business is well.
Well enough.
And then you have been on this land long.
You ask a lot of questions.
Not much else to do than waiting for horses.
You must not get a lot to read. I'm gonna reach into the pack and pull out that journal written in Elvish that we found in the box. And just kind of like put it on the table. Like, can you read this? Open it. I found it on the road, and it's not a language that I understand.
Yes, I can read it.
Oh.
Any interest in translating for me? For a fee or services?
Takes a while. Picks up the journal.
Take a bite of the bread.
Where did you say you found this?
Well, I originally lied and said that I found it on the road, but instead we did find it in a locked box, interestingly, in an inn. Jesus Christ, this freaking bug! It scared the shit out of me.
You get used to those out here.
I never will.
I'm gonna give you a free piece of advice. Be careful who you show this to.
Why?
Can you give me a hint?
That there is a first-hand account of the Queen's War.
An autobiography?
Seems to be young soldier's accounts of what he's seen in these lands. If the Queen were to know you have this, you'd all be in a lot of trouble.
Does it mention undead walking around? By any chance?
I can see you're a bunch of trouble, aren't you?
Unfortunately.
Typically.
Trouble has found us, I'd say.
So you spend nights out in the woods, have you?
Just one.
Not by choice.
Alright. Have a seat. goes, he grabs a stool, puts it by the wood stove, takes some water and pours it. Looks as though he's making tea. Sets it back down, he sits down and starts drinking. Why do you want to know what's written here?
More curious than anything. But if it has anything to do with what we've found and seen, might be helpful. Jinx.
What do you know of Devenia's history?
Only what we've been told by those in town.
Your queen is new. There was a dark lord of some sort with... I assume that's where the undead came from, Dark Lord.
Aye. Your lord likes to dabble with the dead and made up most of his army in the war. But you've probably run into the last of what's left. The dead are hard to exterminate. Easier when they're in bunches. But there's pockets all throughout these woods filled with them.
And do you have troubles with the dead here on your farm?
No. I know how to protect myself.
What do you find keeps them away?
Well, for the most part, they don't like large crowds. And light. Light is not their friend.
Makes sense.
What about trees that move? Any problems with those as well?
There's a lot of strange things in these woods.
That there is.
A lot of things that people don't make it out to talk about.
Well, we're not the only ones who know about the dead, so why would the Queen be so upset about a document?
Let me ask you this. Before you came, what did you know of Devenia?
Only that you were looking to expand and that we could find work.
Exactly. There's money here. The Queen has untold wealth and fortune. She does not want anyone outside of her country to know what lives here, or what used to live here. Would you have been so quick to come here if you'd know that the dead don't always stay dead?
No. By whore's testicle, no, I would not.
Although it would have been nice to have a heads up. No, I suppose not, though.
Your story is not too dissimilar from the young lad in this journal. So, this is the journal of a young soldier. He came here because he was asked to fight. He was not told what he was going to fight. So, over time, he discovered the truth. And he discovered that there's a hierarchy to them.
To the undead.
Aye. The corpses that have been reanimated that he talks about, nothing but foot soldiers. They have leaders that raise them shortly after they've fallen on the battlefield. Talks of the war of fighting an enemy who gains numbers every time they lose.
So if there's a hierarchy, then they must need to just take out those higher up undead?
That's what they discovered. The corpses are nothing more than cannon fodder. The ones with the pale white skin. Those ones raise the corpses.
We saw one of those. We killed one of those.
And there are others who make the ones with the white skin.
Does he describe what they look like?
Yes, inside. Talks briefly of what he's overheard. I don't like that D&D Beyond doesn't have the little bookmarks that they do on the phone directly to the computer, so please excuse me one moment. The ones who make the pale white skins, the whites. Like the whites and the zombies they raise, they too are a corpse. Only the soul becomes twisted and will not leave its shell. The whites have a hate for all things living. The ones who raise the whites have a much more personal hatred for certain living. They call them the Ganshi. For those taking notes, that's Janshi.
Those are above the whites. Well, that's not good.
Oh, did he happen to mention anything about finding them or killing them? Or where they like to hang out?
Most of the time they hang out underground
Underground?
or in some sort of tombs. These ones don't like the light, but they're not like the whites where it actually hinders them.
Good to know. Does he describe having fought any? Or seen them in action?
He's never fought any of them. This is a young lad. Not much more than a squire, really. Let's talk about one battle he was in.
Well, if he wrote about it, then he survived, so...
Is there a name to the author of this journal? Perhaps we can find him should he live.
There's no name.
That'd be too easy.
Also, it begs the question of how this ended up in a lockbox in a room. Perhaps he stayed there.
I saw no elves while we were in the town.
It's written in Elvish. Is it written in Elvish that appears native or more someone trying to mask their journal? In your opinion.
Do you know of the elves?
I've met them in Kalia before. I mean, they're all over the place in Kalia and Cassia.
Not much.
They're an old people.
Come from the Fae.
Either descendants of Fae. Then you know that there are more than one kind of elf, right?
Oh, of course.
Yes.
It's more than one kind of human. And
well, this journal is not of just any elf. This elf was a Sharakai.
I don't know the different types. I just know that there are different types.
Aye.
Me too.
Sharakai do not make their presence known. Sharakai were once followers of a queen. This queen tried to save her people. But in doing so, she changed.
Changed how?
She ascended.
Ascended.
She ascended and her name is lost to time.
And her remaining people are scattered.
Tell me, do you know of the Feywild?
Only in myth.
Well, the elves are very keen to remind everyone that they came from there. We measure our time based off of when they arrived, as if that's the most important thing.
And you know the Feywild is another plane.
I've heard.
What if I told you the Feywild is not the only plane mirrored after our own?
Seems plausible.
Why not?
A long time ago, the elven gods were fighting. Fight to the point where it might have meant the end of all elves. So, a queen from the Feywild decided that she would help her people. She would ascend and stop the fighting. In doing so, some of her followers were not altruistic. They tried to siphon her power before she could ascend. In doing so, it corrupted the magic that she was gathering. And it sent her to a mirror of the Feywild, where the shadow fell. If the Feywild were... The Feywild is living magic incarnate. The Shadowfell is in between life and thereafter. The Shadowkai are the elves that went with her. And most of the problems here in Devenia stem from that queen. Those who try to siphon her power. They created the magics that created the undead.
Is there a portal here? How does that manifest?
There are ways to get from one to the other. Places where the boundaries of the two worlds are weak. No different than the Feywild. But the Queen likes to keep her disciples close.
So if we see undead, does that mean there's a portal nearby, necessarily?
No. Those who stole her magic, they've found their ways here. She thought she had trapped them all with her and the Shadowfell.
This Dark Lord that once ruled these lands, does that make him one of these Shadowfell?
I do not know who the Lord was, but if he had undead fighting for him, he's definitely from there.
No, I don't know what to do with this information. We can't let other people know we have this. Or we'll put a target on our back because this queen will be interested in us. Not looking to expand. But I also feel as if we should warn people. I mean, Francis.
I think he was eaten by a tree.
Maybe.
That tree has a hard bite.
Could just wrap around. Anyway,
You seem like a foolish bunch. Not unlike this idiot kid. But should you find yourself face to face with one of the Razors of the Whites, know this: they fear their own reflection. And are susceptible to the touch of holy symbols.
It is good to know.
The worst of the worst, though, were the generals of this lord. So the ones that stand in between life and death. The cursed ones, they call them. You would probably here know them as vampire.
Oh.
vampires. It's like something you hear in a fairy tale.
Where do you think they came from?
Probably along with the elves through the portal.
Only the vampires are not like the others. Their plight is like a plague. It spreads. Those killed by the vampires will raise as another to their numbers. There are a few weaknesses. Like most of the undead, vampires do not like sunlight, but that will actually harm them. As well as running water. They can't stand still in it.
Do you have anything that can help with that? Should we run into any? Not that I'm planning on it.
No,
You can't control water?
I don't have anything prepared, and since I can't pray overnight to replace my spells, I do not.
They do have weaknesses that you can exploit. Vampires cannot enter a residence without explicit consent. They are forbidden from crossing the threshold. But they're free to move in public housing. Vampires also have a hard time dying. You can incapacitate them with a stake through the heart in their place of rest.
You have to find where they sleep.
Aye, that's why they're so dangerous. If you do manage to kill them, they return. You can only kill them in their place of sleep. Or if you can prevent them from making it back after you kill them.
You have to follow them.
They can also shape change.
What sorts of shapes do they like to change into?
Most of the time it's bats, but more powerful ones have been known to shift into wolves. The worst part of the vampirism is it corrupts them. They may have all the same memories from when they were alive, but the curse twists their minds. You can't trust them. But as long as you're out in the sunlight, you should be safe.
That's a little help. Can't control the suns. Have I noticed, is he saying all of this while reading, as if he's reading from the book, or just saying it as if he knows?
How do I put this? Roll an insight check.
18.
An 18, he has said more than you would assume from somebody who has flipped through a few pages.
How does the journal end?
The young lad talks of finding some magic item that is the reason why they were able to go on for as long as they were.
The vampires.
Vampires had found a way to walk in the day.
I think I have it.
Mm-hmm.
Though. Well, it would probably be because of this. Pull out this ring. It is an enchanted ring that
A daylight ring.
looks to be made of the same stone as your castle.
We took it from the white after we killed them.
There's not many of those rings.
Must have been a top commander or whatever to have one of these rings.
Mm-hmm.
Those rings were worn by the Dark Lord's lieutenants during the war.
Do you know how many there were?
6.
Their numbers might be dwindling if a white had one.
So maybe there's
Or
at
they
least
have more.
5.
Last
They found a way to make more, yeah.
Last I had heard, 4 of the lieutenants were killed, and the Queen has their rings. If the Queen knows that you have that ring, she will want it.
So this
Two
queen
things.
wants many things about us.
We've stumbled upon, it seems. She has 4.
She
And we
has
have
4
one.
out of the 6.
My only
There's one
fear
more.
would be going there and giving her one and then her saying thank you and taking our heads off.
What allegiance do we have to this queen to give her our property?
I don't think she should know. I don't know much about this queen enough to know whether we can trust her or not.
I swore no fealty to this woman.
We maybe did not, but good look at Jace. What would you recommend? Bring it to the queen, give her the journal.
Well, this journal is written in Elvish. If you can convince her you don't know what it says, she might pay you a hefty ransom for it. But if you offer her that ring, you'll probably never leave again.
I mean, we could always pretend that we don't know the significance of the ring either. It's just made of the same stone as the castle.
Too high of a risk.
Well, I don't know what we do with this information.
I say we
I will
buy
say
a horse,
this.
complete our initial transaction, and leave these lands of the dead.
It may have been a mistake to come. Would you like to come with us, Jace?
I'm happy where I am.
Quite happy, yes.
So what do you do with this information?
Oh, I feel like we've we've gotten in a bit over our heads, haven't we?
Yeah. Would you like to keep it?
The ring?
The ring, the journal.
If you have no use for it.
Did we just hand Galadriel the ring of power?
And you, if I may be so bold, I've seen plenty of elves.
He doesn't like that.
I didn't say he was one. With a variety of looks and whatnot, as I said, Kalia and Cassia. Small, though they are right now. Where do you hail from originally?
Seeing as how you're all probably going to get yourself killed, I am a Shadakai. I fought in this war. Like this stupid lad, I was stupid. And like the rest of you lot, I didn't ask enough questions. After the war, I turned my back on both queens.
How long ago was this war?
Long time ago. Almost 40 years.
And you've just been out here by yourself ever since?
There were 4 of us. We lost a lot more than just our kin in the war. We lost our faith. In people and the gods alike.
Well, it seems as though this region has an undead problem. Are they looking for people to help with that? Should we seek out this final ring?
Let me ask you a question. You were hired for what purpose?
Escort goods to World's End.
Then you said it was a carriage.
Mm-hmm.
Why 3 of you?
With the dangers along the road.
Yes, they said it would be dangerous.
Aye. But why 3? Why not 6? Why not 8?
Three is a lucky number.
Because
I asked this question. Why were only a few of us sent?
How big was the other group?
I don't remember. 4?
3.
3?
There were 3 also. Oh.
Were we bait? Is that what you're telling me?
Sacrifice.
Necessary. Send a large group. Lots of people. Lots of mouths. Send a smaller group. More organized. Easier to silence if they see things they're not supposed to.
Is that why Madam Right Through has been so nice to us, despite us hearing that she was a bitch?
Madam Right Through does as she's told.
So we are in danger simply for taking this job.
For living.
Perhaps we purchase this horse and just head back ourselves. Forget waiting for the next delivery. One that we may not make back.
It's only 2 horses. You would need a third. Do we have 300 gold amongst us?
Yes.
You do. But we get back and Sir Isaac Clarke will be looking for us. And then we would have to somehow purchase passage on a ship somewhere, which can be expensive. Or perhaps we take care of the problem. Go to the Queen and tell her that it's all taken care of. There's nothing more to
And
silence.
lose our heads.
No, there's
in
nothing
that.
more to silence in that. It's like it never existed.
You were brought in order to thin the herd. The undead will never be gone, because there will always be more people to die.
Is there not one, like, tippy-top undead?
Sure, but who knows? The forest is vast.
That's true.
But you have something that you could use. If you could find a seer to find the other ring, perhaps that might be enough to convince the Queen that maybe keeping you alive is more valuable than dead.
Do we not have a twig that can lead us to this ring?
Does it have to be a person?
It will point us in the direction, but it won't tell us how far. Or, I mean, we would never know how long. We could be out for weeks, and we might not survive that. So it will point us in a direction, but that's about it. That's a very wild goose chasey thing to do. But you say if we just tell the Queen where the last one is, or would we need to go get it?
You would need to get it.
How do we assure she doesn't just kill us then once we give it to her? Assuming we find it and don't get killed in the process.
Like I said, the Queen has 4 out of the 6 rings. You have the 5th. If you were to bring her the last 2, though the Queen wants expansion, she knows that doesn't happen without word of mouth.
Perhaps we give her one and mail the other once we are safely away from her lands.
I don't think she would let us go if we said, we'll be back.
No, we will not be back. We'll mail it to you. It will arrive via owl, like her Hogwarts.
I don't
letter.
believe that she would accept others having access to the ring. We would have to give it to ourselves.
We have no insurance in that case.
Maybe we make insurance.
In what
Maybe
manner?
we write this down and have one of those, kill switches. If I do not let you know, then the letter goes out. If you don't hear from me, the letter goes out, and everyone will know not to go to Divenia.
we need more than one letter.
Yes, we would need more than one, yes. We would need multiples. Let's research. See what we can find before we go. She doesn't know we have this one.
Perhaps she does. What?
See how she would.
Well, if she's looking
They
for
have
them
some
actively.
word.
We did show that fucking merchant.
We should go kill him.
It's too late.
He didn't seem to let on that he thought it was anything that special, but...
But Madam Right Through is right there. We should operate under the assumption that he has said something to her. She runs the whole place. Son of a whore. Well, you said a seer. You wouldn't happen to be that seer, speaking in cryptic tongues, would you?
No. You're gonna have to go back to Aurorhaus.
All right. We'll just say we lost the ring. If, Ivan asks.
And if we are searched,
I'll hide it in nature's pocket. You know.
Good. Yeah, it's very, very handy.
I'm not sure which pocket that is, but I will leave it to you.
Betty knows.
Okay.
Well, I seem to have ruined your day.
No, it
It's
was
already pretty bad.
it was fine. It was on its way.
And that tree ruined it when it bit me.
The fact that we have to get back before nightfall ruined our day from the beginning. Unless you'd be willing to let us sleep here. For a fee.
Mm-hmm.
We can all share your cot.
I have 3 more pastries in my pocket, and they're all yours.
I'm not someone to turn away guests, right? You did offer me food. I like to keep a clean house. If you pull your weight around the farm for the rest of the day, sir, I can scrape enough food together for a meal.
We brought rations as well.
Even better.
You'll hardly notice us.
Right. Perhaps we get to get introduced to our new horse. And clean up its shit.
Just do not go out into the open field.
What's the open field?
Traps.
Good thing we didn't go through the open field. We definitely thought about it. Actually, good thing the coin landed how it did.
It wouldn't have been that bad, don't worry. Alright then. I'll give you a night's rest. The horse will be ready for you in the morning.
Good trade.
Yes, obliged.
And thank you for reading the book.
Don't tell anyone about this.
Oh,
No, of
goodness,
course
no.
not. No?
You seem like a good enough lot, but you are in way over your heads.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
We
That's
agree 100%.
become very apparent.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's gonna hold on to the book this time. There might be some.
You've got the ring. You've
I've got
the book.
Yes.
I've got me.
I've got my action surge.
Alright, so you spend the rest of your day
Shoveling shit.
Jace's farm.